Line. I'm Dan. This is Isaiah.
What's up?
And we're back. Got some news, movies. Going to talk about actually a video game that a coworker recommended to me. I'm going to give my first impressions. Possibly a full, more in-depth situation next week. But for right now, it will be simply a Dexter Resurrection, his confirmed release date of July 11th on Paramount Plus with Showtime, whatever that means.
Well, you can only watch it if you have a Showtime subscription.
Like added on to Paramount Plus?
Yeah.
You don't just get it if you have Paramount Plus?
Nope.
How much is that? Let's see.
So it's Paramount Plus with Showtime plan only. Yeah, it says it right there.
I'm going to look and see what the price is of that with Showtime, but yeah, I'm excited for it. Dexter Original Sin really got me back in the game here, and let's say $12.99. That seems like a lot, but I'd pay quite a bit for
yeah, it's 12 bottom there.
$12.99 Paramount Plus with Showtime.
$13 a month,
which is about a third of the price of Netflix, so I'd say it's worth it. So yeah, Dexter Resurrection, July 11th. Fun because I'm tongue-tied. This is a fun one. So, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, opening day fan event, which I already bought a ticket for. Couldn't help myself. So you're gonna receive a 14x20 dual-sided exclusive collector's print. So only for people who show up on that first day, the first time, whatever. They also implore fans to arrive early because those screenings, like The Surfer that I'm going to talk about, will have no trailers or commercials attached. No trailers, no ads, meaning the movie... brace yourselves, everyone. The movie will start at the time that it says it will start. So, Thursday, May 22nd at 2 p.m., everyone's local time. So, East Coast, West Coast, doesn't matter. It'll be your 2 p.m.
Is that the week I'm working? Overnight, I think.
Yeah, it is. So
might be able to do that.
Yeah. So yeah, in IMAX, it's gonna be one of the best movie experiences, I hope. Tom Cruise has not let me down these last few movies, so that includes Top Gun Maverick. So I will have full faith. 3-hour runtime, so hey, you know exactly when you're going to get out of the theater. It starts at 2. It's 2 hours and 49 minutes, so you're going to get out at 4:49.
Is it going to have a Q&A, though?
It doesn't seem to be the case, but
okay.
This collector's print will be hanging up in the studio by the time 14x20. Pretty big, isn't it? 14x20. Maybe that's regular size. It's 2x3 feet, essentially, so...
Well, the extra large bags that we have, those are 12x15.
Yeah, check that out if this is going to be a movie experience. They want you to see this in the theaters. None of this drop is already out on digital already. It's crazy. It's still
that's the world we
theaters.
live in today. I hate it so much.
How do they expect movie theaters to thrive if they're just going to keep shoving them?
That was the whole controversy with the Stuntman. I don't think that was the name of the
Ryan Gosling movie. Yeah.
Where like it was out for a week and then they dropped it on digital.
Yeah.
And it was still in theaters because it didn't do as well the first couple days that they wanted it to do. And it's like you wonder why movies don't do well, because people don't go to see it because they know it's going to drop. And like I remember when it was, if you didn't catch it when it was in theaters, you could go 6 to 7 months before you could actually watch it. Or released.
You can't hear me shaking my head in approval. But
that's why people went to the theaters, was because they knew if we don't catch it now, we're going to have to wait a while before we go see it. Now people are like, why would I go see it in a theater when I can wait 4 weeks and watch it on a streaming platform at home? Especially
people with 3 kids where they're going to spend a bunch and then they'll rent it for $20 a few weeks later. But they did this during COVID, right? When there would be few people seeing it at the theaters, but they never pulled back from it. They kind of half-assedly pulled out of it, but
yeah. Well, it's because they realized how much more money they were making off of the shovelware, as I like to call it.
Yeah, that horrible movie with Idris Elba. That was like the poster child for. You know, the last movie I saw before COVID like really picked up was Bloodshot. Did you see this?
No, I remember we were talking because remember we were on overnights. We were talking about it. I think what was the last movie that I saw? I remember seeing it, and it was terrible. And I was like, I can't believe that's my last movie watch. Like,
what
watch
is that
experience.
Idris Elba movie I was thinking of? It came out. It was horrible. It was about time travel, kind of. But if you did things backwards, then you were okay. I typed it, Idris horrible. Come on. What the hell is the name of that movie? Somebody help me out, please.
I guess I wasn't writing down what movies I watched in 2020.
You know what movie I'm talking about?
I have no idea which one you're talking about.
It's this movie came out right in the middle, and some people really liked it for some reason. It was about people doing stuff backwards. It was so stupid.
Was it Idris Elba, or are you thinking of like Tenet?
Oh, Tenet. Wasn't that Idris Elba?
No, that's not Idris Elba.
Whoops. Who is it?
I don't know. It's a...
Oh my god. Oh yeah. Is that other dude? John David Washington. Oh my god. What a horrible movie. That movie was so bad. Alright. Speaking of, look at that segue. Alright, if you don't want spoilers for Blood Money 2017, then please come back about 4.5 minutes. Three friends on a wilderness excursion must outrun a white-collar criminal hell-bent on retrieving his cash, but soon their greed turns them against each other. Modern retelling of Treasure of the Sierra Madre. John Cusack is an accountant of some kind who parachutes out of a plane, lets the plane crash with all this money he embezzled, and three hikers, high school friends, find the money. Willa Fitzgerald is the main character in this, and you might know her from Strange Darling. It's a very similar...
Wait, who was she in that?
The main girl.
No, the main girl in Strange Darling was the girl, Florence Pugh. Oh wait, Strange Darling. Jeez, I was thinking the other terrible movie that had Darling in the name.
Yes.
Whatever the heck that one was. That terrible movie. But yeah, Strange Darling, good movie. Okay, yes.
I can't remember what...
Dear Darling something.
Yeah.
You know what movie I'm talking about, right? With like Chris Pine.
With the airplane.
Yeah, and like
never
the
shows
simulation thing.
Yeah. So Willa Fitzgerald is the main girl. She is in like a love triangle type situation with the other two guys, and John Cusack is chasing them because Willa Fitzgerald finds the money. Who's the bad guy in this movie? It's Willa Fitzgerald. She is the only person, other than an accidental bullet by John Cusack, which kills the cop, who kills anyone in this film. She kills all three people because she wants the money. What happens to the big bad villain at the end of the day? She gets to leave with the money. It was an interesting movie because of the greed of the one guy wants to return it to the cops. The other guy wants to share it with everyone, which is that's how I would feel. Like, okay, millionaire guy who jumped out of a helicopter. There's $8 million here. There's 4 of us. Very easy math. Or since you embezzled all the money, you take $4 million. We'll split the other 2. Nobody dies. Well, Fitzgerald wanted it all. She kills her boyfriend by breaking his neck, allegedly unintentionally. She tries to kill the love sappy loser guy who is like still in love with her for some reason. She cuts him down from the rope. She thinks he's dead. He comes back to save her, and then she shoots him anyways. It is an interesting concept in that money can change people, but the execution of the worst of these people getting away with it like scot-free is so incredibly unsatisfying. In movies like this, movies you don't care about, you kind of need some sort of satisfaction at the end. They kind of try and play it like, oh, she's actually the... No, she's not. No, she is not the good guy in any stretch of the imagination. She's not a sympathetic character. So it's weird and really strange. John Cusack, on the other hand, he's a guy who you think is the villain throughout the movie. But he kind of plays this like weird, eccentric... Somebody calls him like a Motley Crue roadie. He kind of looks like an old... just rocker guy. It's very weird. It's kind of an interesting performance by Cusack, but the other three people are detestable, and the ending is so unsatisfactory that I think this 2.6, other than the ending, would be relatively fair, but it left me feeling so unsatisfied that I can't recommend it to anyone.
2.6 out of 10, right?
If the ending ended where the kind of like the nerdy guy got away, I wouldn't even want him to get away though, because he was just going to turn the damn money in like a friggin' idiot. But maybe she tries to get away and she gets hit by a truck or something. That's fine. Anything to where she doesn't live happily ever after because she's the worst. So
yeah, a couple things. First, I remembered I looked it up. It's Don't Worry, Darling. Second, I remembered what the last movie I saw in theaters was, and it wasn't actually bad. It was everybody else was being weird about it. It was The Hunt. Remember that one? The actually good movie.
Go see The Hunt. Fantastic movie.
Yeah, that's very, very good movie that got a lot of crap and was delayed because people were like, oh, it's political, it's anti-Trump, and then it was that it's anti-Democrat, and it's like, well, actually they're making fun of all of it. That's what makes it a fun movie. That's what makes Kill Tony fun, is they just make fun of everything. That's the whole point, and it was a really good movie, unlike this movie that I watched not intentionally at all. 1.2 is a little high for this movie.
The FBI needs to check into these 105 people.
Those are the 105. That's 105 people who worked on the movie.
These 116 people, because the 5 out of 5 are kind of probably sarcastic, but the people who rated a 4.5 and a 4.
Yeah. So I was hanging out with my friends because I was doing a charity thing previous weekend, and we all went after it was over. We went to the house, we ordered pizza, and we're like, let's throw on. They're talking about how they had just watched the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey movie, and they're like, let's watch this one because it's part of the universe, right? And I was like, I don't think so, but they threw it on because it was free on Roku or something.
They saw the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey movie and wanted more.
they
just
are
checking.
But they are like me, enjoyers of bad movies. Remember, The Fanatic's one of the best movies ever made, Dan.
Okay, I'm on board now. I understand.
So like, it's part of the thing where like we didn't watch, like we probably paid attention to this movie like half the time. Like I think a bunch of us were playing the Wii Play tank game on the TV screen they had to the right of the one with the movie on for part of it. Like, it was just like a dumb movie to make fun of and laugh at. That's the thing. Yeah. And I had fun doing that, where I just kind of was like, wow, great first take for some of the dialogue. And they're like, this lady is playing a 21-year-old, but she is most obviously 35. And no amount of makeup's gonna fix that. And like the thing that we made fun of the most that we kept on pointing out was for the lighting for the entire movie. They have these thin rods that just have like neon blue lights, and they're everywhere in the movie. No matter what scene, where they are, different locations. Even like there's a bar on the other side of town, and they have what's lighting the bar, these thin blue strip light things. It is the entire lighting for the movie, and you can tell that, hey, we bought like 15 of these are the only things we can get for lighting, and we're gonna put them everywhere for every scene that we film. It was really funny because like my friend was going, oh my gosh, it's those lights again, because I noticed stuff like that, so I pointed it out first. It's real bad. This is an awful movie. I never would have watched this on my own, but you know what? When you're watching, this is the kind of movie where I'd never watch this on my own. Watch it with friends, though. Great experience if you just get to make fun of how terrible this movie is the entire time. Like, they're going to this, I forget what it was that happened, but she's narrating, like, they have this person who was at the party and she's telling them like the stuff that happened, and she starts talking like, they go to like where one of the guys that's there gets a phone call, and then it cuts to the scene where they're in the bar, and it's the guys in the bar having a conversation. And I'm like, wait, how does she know what these guys in the bar were having a conversation with? She wasn't there. The killer guy wasn't there at all for her to, they said kind of like, oh, maybe she knew the things that this guy did. No, it was just those 4 people alone in the bar. How is she telling the cops what they said when they hung up the phone and they're just talking to themselves afterwards?
Yeah.
Stuff that obviously wasn't thought about before.
Jesus.
I don't know. I've talked about this movie more than it deserves. It's really bad. The guy who plays the killer is actually or like the writer or something, Simon Phillips or something. I don't know. It was.
You know, I watched this movie by myself.
I feel so bad. Also, like, you can kind of see the picture there, but like through the mouth is like the guy's beard or something, because it looked, or like, I don't know what it was, or just the fuzz of the mouth, but it looked like Mickey had a goatee throughout the movie. I don't know, the movie was trying to be funny, which my friends were finding, like with the Star Wars opening crawl they had, but going on way too long, and they just kept on making the same joke, and I was just like, yeah, I mean, it wasn't really all that funny to begin with, but you're trying way too hard now.
Yeah. You think any of this was like Canadian humor that would like go over your head?
No.
Because some of the things were like Canadian hockey references and things like that I didn't really get.
I wasn't paying too much attention to that. All right.
Yeah.
I remember I was talking.
Stupid.
We were paying half attention. All right.
That's got to be the way to watch this.
That's the way you watch these movies. That's why, like they said, like when they watched the Pooh Bear movie, it was the group of them watching it. So I said, hey, when you guys watch Pooh 2, maybe I'll jump in on that one. But I was like, hey, do you like Freddy Krueger? Boy, you're gonna love Tigger then, right? Because that's all he does in that movie.
Yeah, that's true. This one, my boy Tigger. All right,
let's get on to some better stuff.
This was a pretty good movie, The Accountant 2. So Ben Affleck's character has autism. If you've seen the first one, then you know all about it. I did like this one better than the first one because in the first one, they do a lot of flashbacks to the kid, to him as a kid, having autistic fits and things like that. Those are necessary things you have to have in the movie in order to like portray what his life was really like. But it's not exactly something that I want to watch, especially maybe another. I just got a notification drop now available to rent or buy. I just got it dropped.
Well, there we go.
Yeah. So it's not a knock on the first one, and I wouldn't change that about the first one, but it's not something I want to keep reliving.
That's what makes it a good sequel.
That's why this movie is a lot better, in my opinion, a lot easier to show people. And I don't think you even need to watch the first one to enjoy this. If you have a basic understanding that Jon Bernthal and Ben Affleck are brothers, Jon Bernthal's, and I'm putting in heavy quotes, you can't see me, is a normal guy, but he's kind of like the fly by the pants type of dude. Ben Affleck is very stoic. He's autistic. He's very stoic. Matter of fact, there's no like emotion in it. Jon Bernthal has plenty of emotion. The way I look at this, and I know it's because it's Jon Bernthal's face, but they do kill a lot of people. It's like, so if you think of Gogeta being fused, 2 people fused, if Ben Affleck's autistic character and Jon Bernthal's character in this did a fusion dance, they would become the Punisher. That's the way I felt it, because Jon Bernthal, it's like his character, but without the family, the death of his family. It's Frank Castle's You know,
John Berthel's actual family is dead now. Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying? Okay.
it's like if Frank Castle's family never got killed. So, I really enjoyed this movie. There's a ton of action. There's no MacGuffin of any type, but the plot evolves as the movie progresses because you think one character is the main focus, but it kind of, as you gather more information, it picks up steam. They do use some of the autistic. Apparently, there's like a league of autistic trackers.
Yeah, it's the Kill Tony guys,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It was yeah, definitely. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I would guess this movie was about 2 hours, hour and 33. It didn't feel like it was too long. It felt the
Hour and
appropriate
33
time.
or 133?
133.
Okay.
2 hours and 13. But it was really fun, and I think this one is a must watch. The first one, I told you all you need to know about the first one. Guy's got autism. He and his brother are very, very different people. They're at odds, and I think a lot of the best interactions between the two. There's one scene where they're in like a cowboy bar or whatever, and Ben Affleck's character, since he's got autism, I don't know if I mentioned that before. He's watching how the girls are doing the hoedown or whatever the hell it is, the square dancing, and because it's a pattern of rhythm of his feet, he can still do it because the pattern's in his head. So he gets up there, he's never done it before, to impress this gal, who he obviously, when they're talking, he can't like communicate properly, but he goes up and he starts doing the thing right away because the patterns in his head. So it's just things like that. It's some of the most interesting like side bits, and like just the interaction between the two is a lot of fun. So have you seen either of these?
Not yet. I'm hoping once I get more time, which I should in a month, for reasons that you know of, I will hopefully get around to a lot of these movies that I'm adding to a list. But it's just really hard to find some of the time.
Especially with the backlog you have, I don't think you need to watch the first one.
It's just weird for me because I'm very like anal about watching things in sequence. So like if I'm gonna watch the second one, I need to watch the first one. Kind of like that. I'm really weird with that.
You'll never get to either of them.
I know, but I do want to watch them. It's just a time thing right now.
All right, go watch. It's currently in theaters. The Accountant 2. Go check that out.
Alrighty, so as stated last time, I was able to watch, or I went to see Sinners, and I actually had a really, really good time at this movie. Now, I think part of the reason why, and you might find this weird to say at first, but it is the case, I felt like I was part of the target audience for this movie. Because a very important aspect of this movie is music. And something I actually think is very interesting, because I'll just get this out of the way. Like, if you don't, like, you know what kind of movie this is, right?
No.
Like, do you know like the twist to it? Like, that's what I'm saying.
Vampires?
Yeah. Okay. So you know about the vampire part of it. So a lot of people were saying, "Oh, look, vampires are white. The black people are the victims. It's some sort of like racial thing." And I guess Ryan Coogler actually came out and said, "No, not what my movie's about." And actually, when you watch the movie, you'll understand that's not the case. They actually kind of go against that a little bit. It's about music. And I don't really want to say anything more than that, because even that is kind of saying a little bit too much. But this movie did the thing I really like with stuff like this, where unlike, let's say, Abigail, where the movie just pretends that you don't know that it's a vampire movie for the first like 30 minutes, this movie lets you know right out the gate it's a vampire movie. Okay? That's what this is about. And then it spends the good first half of the movie not really being about vampire stuff. It's like a slow build up to it. Like, think if you've seen Dusk by Dawn. Or Dawn.
Dusk Till Dawn?
Dusk Till Dawn. Jeez, I was like, I know I said that wrong. It's very similar, I guess, kind of approach to that movie, where it's not really a vampire movie until the second half of the movie. However, the first half of that movie is all about like the character writing and getting you invested in the characters. And in my opinion, it's very well done. And something else as well. I guess I'll be talking like very, very, very light spoilers. Not really, it's just basic general stuff. But Michael B. Jordan isn't even the main character of this movie. Interesting enough, neither of him is. Like I guess he's a main character, but like the main character is a guy, or if you scroll down, I don't know his name, but it's his first ever movie that he's been in. Miles Canton or Calton there. Yeah, first ever movie. He's the movie stealer. He's really good in the movie. I really like him in it. I don't know what else to say without getting into spoilers, but I do highly recommend it. It's not the 10 out of 10 movie that everybody's saying it is. There's parts of it where I was just like, it's kind of falling a little bit here, but it's still a really, really good movie. I like that's why I like 4.2. I put it at an 8.5 out of 10. So I actually find that score there very fair. And it's just a super fun watch. I don't know how to say this without spoiling it, so I won't. But
I don't care.
It's very
spoilers, potential spoilers for sinners. Give it 30 seconds and come back.
Also, the thematic wrapping up of how music ties into everything and how it defies kind of like time and life was very impactful, and that's why like if you're watching the movie, stay through to the credits, because like there's a mid-credit scene, but it's not really. It's just kind of like they start the credits and then they actually put the end of the movie there. And it really does kind of like hit you in the feels there. I really, really enjoyed.
How was that a
one.
spoiler?
I found a way, like it's about music, and the post-credit scene thing could be slightly spoilerific if you're watching the movie. If it didn't spoil it for you, then cool. But I don't know. I really, really liked it. I thought everyone did a great job, and apparently I didn't know it till I saw the credits, but the main white girl in this is Haley Steinfeld, who's like big in a bunch of stuff. She was the female Hawkeye in that TV show. I don't know. She's a big name. Legend. She's in a bunch of stuff, but I don't know why I
know the name from something. I don't know.
I say she's in a lot of things. Oh, she's Gwen in the Spider-Verse movies.
I'm trying to think of something.
Oh, she's in the Pitch Perfect movies.
Oh no, nothing.
Like I said, Bumblebee. She was the main girl in that. Was she the young girl in True Grit remake? That'd be interesting. But yeah, no, very. Oh, also Delroy Lindo, I think is the actor's name. He does a really, really good job in the movie. He's
obviously the bad guy.
He is, but he's
it's pretty obvious.
He's very, very good in the movie. Oh yeah, that's right. He's going to be in 28 days or 28 years later. That one coming. I really enjoyed him.
All right. I saw this movie yesterday. This movie's called The Surfer.
My boy.
Nick Cage's character is called The Surfer. I realized about halfway through the film, because I didn't know that was his character's name. Like, did they ever tell me what his name was? Wait, like, we meet him straight away.
I think I saw a trailer for this movie now, all of a sudden.
It's just strange. I spent the entire movie like, I know this guy from somewhere, and it's the damn dude from
he's
Nip Tuck.
He's also in Fantastic Four. He's Doctor Doom.
Yeah,
for the original Fantastic.
The only one's worth watching.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Surfer, Nick Cage's character, is returning home to Australia. Don't worry, he doesn't do an Australian accent. He left Australia when he was a baby or a teenager or something. He's going back to this specific area where he and his father used to surf. Now, the locals don't live here, don't surf here. That's the whole gimmick. He wants to surf there with his boy like his dad did with him. The locals won't let him. Why could he surf there as a boy? Because he used to live there. He's trying to buy the house up on the hill to where he will be a local again. The entire movie is spent with you wondering, it's not the entire movie. The second half of the movie is entirely spent with you wondering if any of this is real. Was he ever there as a kid? Is it all in his mind? So, a movie shot in one location on an Australian beach with Nicolas Cage slowly losing his mind, and all the locals are tormenting him for 90-something minutes? 100 minutes, is everything you want out of a Nicolas Cage movie. If you like Cage, there's no shot that you won't like this movie. Now, at the end of the movie, something popped up on the screen post credits, and it said live Q&A to start soon. Like, okay, is someone gonna come? Some rando gonna come out here and sit down? No. So what they did was they had a worldwide broadcast last night. They said 600 plus theaters. The main theater where Cage and the director Lorcan Finnegan were, and an interviewer, was in Los Angeles, but they broadcast. I've never heard of them doing this before, of anyone doing this. They broadcast it to all 600 theaters. So, and they did this thing where you could go on X and submit a question. And I thought it was one of the more unique experiences because it brought a little of that film festival feel to your home, to your local theater.
So that's actually something they've been doing for a little bit, because when I watched Inside Out, the first one, I went to like an early premiere of it with the Q&A, and they did the same thing where they had everybody at a theater and they were streaming the entire Q&A, and you could live submit questions for them to ask. But that's really cool. Like I hadn't seen that in a long time. I thought they stopped doing it, but
it's pretty
really
interesting awesome. Because when you hear of a big star like Nick Cage being in a random movie like this, it was similar to how I felt when Demi Moore was in The Substance. It's like, what is this movie? The Substance was also a film festival movie, but this is a Nick Cage piece, and Julian McMahon is fantastic in it as well. He's the main antagonist. It's a mind freak of a movie. And it is just absolutely fantastic. And I was looking through, and it is now my fourth favorite movie of the year, just barely beating out Locked. So it's a lot of fun. If you don't like Cage, avoid this movie at all costs. If you think his antics and he's a little less insane in this movie, like he's going insane, but he keeps it contained. He doesn't do any of these like over the top mannerisms or anything.
I was gonna say, is it more like Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent? Because I feel like he's a little contained in that movie for most of it. Kind of goes a little off the wall near the end, but
even in that one, he's like, Nicholas.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, his young.
It's like it's not that insane, but his character. It's more contained in that his character is going insane, but he's isolated.
Is it like Pig? I don't know if you saw that movie.
I saw it and I didn't like it.
Okay.
I don't know if it's like Pig or not, but I don't really remember it. I thought it was going to be a John Wick type situation. Maybe that's why I didn't like it. But this one I think is unique in the Cage universe, and all it did was make me think of Jeremy, who used to do this show, because we loved Cage. Like that was like our thing. I'm a big Nick Cage fan. I think Face Off is like probably my favorite action movie of all time still. Like we're talking about like Nick Cage like this weekend. I can't remember what movie we were even talking about. We were talking about because they were talking about like Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, how like they were saying like, oh, it's like a 10 out of 10 movie. I was like, I liked the movie a lot. I wouldn't call it a 10 out of 10. I was like, if you want me to give you a 10 out of 10 Nick Cage movie, it'd be Face Off. Yeah. But yeah, I was like, I still think that's like probably one of the best action movies, and it's definitely held up, you know, in part by his performance in that movie, like that level of insanity. Yeah. Well, but it looks like it's not coming to our theater, which sucks. Our local theater, half of it is going through construction right now because it's very weird, but now that you gave a timeline, it's spanning the whole year. Yeah. I was gonna say it's strange that they're doing it in the like coming up on summer, but if it's gonna take you a year, it doesn't matter anyways. Yeah. And it looks like so. I don't know, it's weird that they're doing the oh no, because the IMAX isn't gonna start till after Mission Impossible drops. Because I was like, that's got to be like a big IMAX movie, but Man, I was really hoping I'd get a production budget on this because it can't be a lot. It's one location. There's no special effects. There's nothing. There's a very small cast.
Over 43.
And most of the people in the cast are like side characters. So really you just have Nick Cage and Julian McMahon, and I believe the cop isn't even in it for that long. So, but it is a must watch if you like Cage.
Well, I guess I have to wait for it to come to streaming.
Yeah, I was looking. The reason I didn't really feel like going to the movies last night, but the reason that I did is because the closest theater is in New Hartford that's playing it. So I just wanted to.
Yeah. All right. Another thing that we watched, I watched with my friends this weekend that was actually good, because we're all It's Always Sunny fans, was the crossover that they did with Abbott Elementary. Now, I've never watched a single episode of Abbott Elementary. However, I've watched basically every episode of It's Always Sunny. So we were like, hey, let's just... And that's basically the case with my entire friend group. We're like, hey, let's just throw it on because it could be really funny. And... yeah, like here's the cool thing as well. I had never seen a single episode of Abbott Elementary, and I didn't need to enjoy the episode. It's shot... So I guess the premise of the movie is it's very similar to like The Office, where it's like, hey, we have an actual on-camera group of people filming type thing, which they actually lean into a little bit for some very good comedy with Dennis.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just get to see the characters interact with each other a bunch, and it's really fun. That's it. It's just like a single episode of It's Always Sunny, you could say, but maybe slightly reeled in, but because I guess the Abbott Elementary is like less crass, but it's still the characters being really entertaining, and I was like, yeah, it's very funny. We laughed a lot during it. Frank, I mean, every single It's Always Sunny member was hilarious, and maybe they were just carrying the episode, but it made me kind of want to check out the Abbott Elementary show because, hey, I mean, if the entire show is as funny as this, maybe it's all going to be entertaining.
Yeah.
But there's going to be
expectations on that one.
Yeah, but as you can see here, so that was a crossover where it was an episode of Abbott Elementary. They're doing another crossover that's going to be in It's Always Sunny, where I guess the characters from that show are going to come into the world of It's Always Sunny.
Patty's Pub, probably.
Yeah. So we'll see how that one goes. But if you like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which you know us here, we do, definitely worth giving a watch. It's on Hulu for you to just throw on and watch if you have that. So
yeah, or you could be like me and own all the discs.
Yeah.
So
all
right,
I want to play that game.
Claire
so bad.
Obscura Expedition 33 available now, recommended to me by a coworker, and I'm just gonna give my brief first impressions because I played about maybe an hour's worth. It's set in a very desolate world, as I'm sure you can tell by the image on screen, but more so than you can even imagine. It is a very, very dark place, and a lot of times, so it's a turn-based homage to JRPGs. It's not technically a JRPG because it's not a Japanese game, but it's essentially a JRPG. It's like
I heard it's
the
like the Paper
argument of
Mario
manga,
games,
right? So if you is manga strictly Japanese, if Americans make it, is it still manga? It's like that. It's still a JRPG to me.
Yeah, like I have a difference when it comes to like manga, where it's like that's like literally part of its identity is that, whereas JRPG just got its name because Japan was the one doing a lot of that. But you can have like an American-made JRPG.
You can have American-made manga too. It's the style more than it's the country who originated it. But anyways, the combat has some Final Fantasy VIII elements to it. Final Fantasy nerds out there, you know exactly why I say that. Because during the attacks and such and defense, there's more interactions than just the inputs of the turn-based system. So that, like, there's parrying, there's dodging, even though it's turn-based, which I think makes it a lot more engaging than just the typical. And if you know anything about me, you know I love turn-based action, turn-based systems. I think it's very underrated, especially in today, where everything has to be a third-person camera. But the game's a lot of fun. I'm a bit confused on what the hell's going on so far, which I guess is a good thing, keeping me interested in playing, which I should have time before thinking about going to a movie tonight, but I should have some time.
Yeah, I really want to get this game because I've heard so much good stuff about it. But for me, it's like I still haven't even finished Metaphor. And I don't know, like instead of just buying a brand new game to start another really long experience, I should just finish that game. But it's definitely on my list of like, because like, I mean, like with the original, or the, not the original, but the God of War remake that they made. So God of War 4, I guess you could call it. I played that game like 6 months after it came out. I didn't have time when it did, but this is a game where it's like, hey, if once I finish like Metaphor, I really want to jump into this one because I've heard amazing stuff about it, especially like the storytelling, which is, you know, what really gets me into games. So
the voice acting's pretty good so far too. It's just, it's such a weird.
I think Ben Starr's in this,
thing.
right?
It's so strange, especially like that prologue. The prologue where they teach you, it's a little bit of a tutorial, but you kind of meet some of the characters and introduce the world. It's just such a weird. Here's the battle system. So you have a bunch of different options. You have overdrives, I guess you can call them, but they're like, you have special maneuvers and things like that. And the parrying I haven't really mastered yet. I mean, obviously I'm not that far into it, but it's a little weird for me at this point, but I'll get there.
Timing's a little off.
Yeah, we'll get there. But it's a lot of fun so far. The art is good, is really good in cutscenes, but some of like the movements when you're exploring the world are a bit janky. When you're watching a cutscene, it looks so beautiful, and well, beautiful in the sense of the art designer, not in the sense of the world around you. But it just, when you're running around, the characters feel a little too loose. I don't know exactly how. Like when you're running, you go from 0 to 100 so quick, and the people, like if you're following somebody, they're the Flash, they're Ghost. It feels a little less realistic in that sense, but that is my only complaint at this point. And it's not even really a complaint, it's just an observation, I'll say. It just feels a little off, that's all. But this is a high recommend, and I believe it was $40 or $50, so it's not full price either. Let me check Steam. I think it's on, but I have it for PS5, that's why I'm wondering. But let me edition. There it is, $50. So there you go. Really? Oh, it puts it in for me. But yeah, I'm so glad to see that a game that had this much time and care put into it, clearly you can tell that there isn't going the other way with it. Oh, this could be $70. Yeah, but it also could be $50, and you could encourage people to come play your dang game.
Or you could pay $90 for Mario Kart World.
See, that's where Nintendo's got you. It's because they're like, oh, you already know Mario Kart, so you're going to buy it. These people they're trying to get their name out there, which I love.
Yeah.
So, Kepler Interactive franchise. Never heard of them, but let's see what kind of games they have. Oh, man. A bunch of smaller games on their catalog. But check this out. If you got the money, if you have the time, it's going to be a long game, I have the feeling, but it's fun so far. If you don't like, obviously, if you don't like turn-based, you're not going to enjoy it, but it's fun.
All right, so I watched this video by the Nostalgia Critic. If you don't know who he is, he's been doing movie reviews for like so many years now. I've been following him for a long time. I actually got to meet him when he came out here for a local convention. But you know, like I don't really watch his big main reviews that much anymore because like the comedic style isn't really here. But like he does these videos where he just like sits down and talks about topics in movies that I've been really enjoying. And there's kind of like two of them that he did back to back. But this was like the big one that I really liked, where he talks about, as it says in the title, the religion of fandom. And I believe, I think because people is, oh yeah, it's because the Last of Us show kind of came out, and he was talking about like, you know, fans of that game and the reactions that they have to that, and the difference of just like there's people who are fans, and then there's people who like turn that fandom into religion. He does this really good. I don't want to just like fully recap the video because I like, it's an hour long, but I do highly recommend people watch it. But for the base of it, it's like, it's not a cult, you know, it's different from a cult, because he's like me, is like, you know, there's a difference between cults and religions. They're not all the same thing. But especially like when it went into Star Wars, where it's kind of the idea of how people believe that these properties belong to them, the fans, and how they'll treat any little thing that's kind of not exactly how they want it to be, and kind of maybe take things slightly too far, and just kind of, you see that really with like The Last of Us right now, with what's been going on since the second episode dropped, and they're covering the highly controversial second game. But I just highly recommend this video talking about that. Oh yeah, like the Joker movie as well. You can see the 4 things that he talks about there.
So is he in favor of fans thinking that the property is theirs?
It's not really like of a in favor or not kind of thing. He just kind of discusses it.
In what sense?
Where it's just like, hey, here's where it can be negative, and here's where it can be positive. And because I think he will say, like, you know, I kind of find myself on this side of things, but it's just more of a discussion about how this has grown and become a thing. Because, like, I think it's interesting how even with, like, Star Wars, he's like, you know, this has kind of been a thing since, like, you know, after the first movie came out. And he kind of talks about how Star Trek has been slightly unique and different, where it was kind of like the shows, and then once the movies came out, that's where things kind of changed. I don't know. I really liked his discussion on it, and it's just very informative to get like maybe a, like, it's like he takes a more like, hey, let's look at both sides of the argument kind of thing here. I highly recommend watching it. I found it very, I don't know, entertaining kind of, but more informative and interesting of a video to watch and listen to.
So, just from gathering what you said so far, and just I'm going to give my opinion on what you said about the fans thinking that a property is theirs.
Yeah.
Now, I think in terms of especially Star Wars, it is. All you've done is hire these people who don't care about the product. This is where it comes from. Does he mention this? It seems like a very middle of the road kind of wishy-washy type
so
thing.
It's more so because, like I said, you're taking it from a more now standpoint. Like I said, he talks about like from episode 5,
Sure,
that kind of approach, and then episode 1, and how he kind of looks back and says, like, you know, a lot of the way that people are talking about the current trilogy is what people were talking about the prequel trilogy, and now you look at it where people kind of are accepting of that. But like when the prequel trilogy was coming out, people were saying, oh, you know, not my Star Wars or something. Like people were very against that, and how things can change. And he does talk about how, you know, it's different circumstances, obviously, where you had George Lucas in charge of those movies still, and it's not the case with these new ones, but it's more of a look at.
I think that's a big part of it, is that they, especially anything Disney, is a joke. But here's the thing. I'm going to give my perspective. I don't know what was going on. This guy looks a little bit older than me. Maybe he's probably in his mid-40s, I would guess.
Yeah.
But so he was probably alive during the Star Wars thing. Probably not old enough to see them. But anyways, from a fan's perspective, from someone who grew up mostly with Star Wars comic books, or I used to read the books, toys, all that kind of thing. You spent your money, and your parents spent their money on this franchise, who decided to hire people who hate the product, who hate you, and the fans can see that. Now, I'm not sure what's going on with Star Trek, and I know what's going on with The Last of Us, but anything that's like that, and I can tell you from my perspective, if it's something where you hire Kathleen Kennedy to take over a franchise that I liked, that I spent my money on, that I spent my time on, I feel like I have more of a claim to Star Wars than Kathleen Kennedy does.
Yeah.
Just because she was hired to do whatever the hell she was hired for doesn't exactly mean that she has more claim to it than I do. And that's where a lot of the problem comes from.
I don't think that's the approach he comes from, because once again, I don't even remember if he was talked about this specifically, but this is something that I know I personally believe, and I think of when I think of this conversation, where it's just like people are like, oh, it's not my Star Wars because Mara Jade isn't in it, or, you know, because this didn't happen from the Legends. And I don't know, at least from my perspective, I never read the Legends stuff, and it was always had this idea of this is not part of like the canon story. It was always just extended universe stuff that other people worked on.
Yeah.
So when it's the idea of if it's not this, it's not Star Wars, that can be a little bit of a problematic way of thinking. But like I said, it's not as simple as that either. And I think he says that and that's why, and that's why I said the conversation kind of goes towards where then he talks about the Joker movie, where it's just like, you know, people really liked the first Joker movie, but a lot of the fans took the wrong message out of it. And then when the second one came out and tried, you know, to do something different, not that it was a good movie, but people, because of the wrong, like, I think he says is the second movie felt like it had to make up for the wrong way that people took the first movie and kind of turned it into this, like, I think you'd agree with that. Like the first Joker movie, people treated it like it was some sort of like religious thing, you know, in that like mental aspect, not like maybe quite literally like that, but it's just like, oh no, the movie's trying to say this thing, and it's like, well, no, it's not. It's like, no, that it is. And I think that's kind of more the approach when he takes when he talks about this stuff. I
personally didn't even like the first Joker.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was fine. Lame.
But the thing I did like was Robert De Niro getting shot in the face. That is very enjoyable to me.
But yeah, no,
I meant to. You put this in the document so early, and I put it in my save to watch later, and I never got around to it.
If you do end up wanting to watch it, I'll also rewatch it, because I unfortunately didn't take notes when I was watching it, and I put it down because I wanted to immediately discuss it. Yeah, and I'm forgetting some of the things that I wanted to discuss about it. But I did really like this video, and actually, if you click on his channel, there's one other video that maybe you'll want to do that he just came out with.
It's a little concerning. He's got 1.39 mil, but only 34K.
Well, it's his channel's from like 15, you know, a long time ago, and what made him gain that amount of subscribers is his Nostalgia Critic videos, which that one isn't. So if you look at like the Stargate episode, that's like an actual like Nostalgia Critic video that he does. But yeah, there's a Religion of Fandom. If you scroll down to the next one topic, oh yeah, that one right there. No, it was right there. If you scroll, oh, not playlist, but go back to videos. I saw it was the Disney. The one right there that says no. The problem with the Disney remakes and things that he talks about, and I really like that video because he talks about 3 specific movies. Did you see the video I was talking about? Mm-hmm. Okay, he talks about 3 specific movies, like Snow White being the first one, and what I really like is it isn't just like, oh, this is why just the remakes don't work in general. It's like, here's why the original worked and why this one, you know, like all these original stories worked and these remakes don't. And he looks at like Snow White, The Wizard of Oz, and then Where the Wild Things Are, and talks about like this idea of like he kind of compares it to like David Lynch's type of storytelling, where it's like a dream kind of thing, where these things don't need to make sense. They're there for thematic purposes. So just to really boil down what he's talking about into a really small little topic, something like he says, you know, her being rescued by a prince that she's never met and marrying and going off into the clouds. It doesn't need to have like a realistic reason to it, because it's not supposed to be realistic or reasonable. It's supposed to be, I can't remember the word that he says, but some sort of storytelling. It's like empathetic or emotional storytelling, and like that's the whole point of it. And that's what people like Disney don't get now, is they feel like, oh, we have to correct our mistakes because like a lady would just be swept up by a prince whose name she doesn't even know. We need to make it realistic. That's not the point of it. Like you look at The Wizard of Oz, and it's like it's not supposed to make sense. It's supposed to be this dreamlike reality where things happen for an emotional reason. And that's why I find it really interesting. He says in a modern day version of that where it's done well is Where the Wild Things Are, a movie that I haven't seen, but I've heard really good stuff about, based off like a children's book, where they do that same type of storytelling in it, where it's about like, you know, things aren't overtly explained or shown, and things don't always make sense, but it's not always supposed to. Sometimes it's just these things happen and you're supposed to feel a specific way. And I really liked that video that he did as well. Both those videos I thought were really, really well done. Maybe worth discussing more in depth on later. But yeah,
I'm gonna watch it this week. I really meant to, but
no, that's fine.
That's my bad. All right, next time so I saw this movie, but very sleep deprived, similar to The Monkey for Isaiah he talked about before. But Until Dawn, I'm gonna go watch this again. Is it a movie worth seeing a second time in the theaters? No, but I want to give it a fair shake. I have the Regal Unlimited pass, so it's not gonna cost me anything. So I'm gonna go rewatch this. Possibly, I literally just got out of it before we came here, but I might just go see it again tonight. There's a 10 p.m. showing, so
yeah. And since you said it just came to streaming things, I'll probably try and watch Drop
for real this time.
For real, since
I
don't have to worry about it being
time.
Well, because like last time it was like, okay, I can do a 10-10 showing, and then what do they change the show times to on Tuesday and Wednesday when I want to go see it? 6 p.m. when I can't do it.
Yeah, I
was going to see it last night because my thing got out at 10.
Yeah,
and because I was right next to the theater. Yeah, it's Bob from Dan just pointed to the guy on the left there in the blue, but it's Bob from Top Gun Maverick. He's playing Sentry.
Is he Wyatt Russell?
No, that's
who the hell? What's his name? Thunderbolts. I guess I'm gonna watch this. I don't know why. Sebastian Stan is a detestable human, but David Harbour makes everything better.
I've heard he's really good in this movie. Like, the highlight to watch this movie for is David Harbour.
Yeah. So, see, people like to say, "Oh, you don't." Well, people like to say these things to people who don't like Captain America as the Falcon because of some sort of weird race thing. It has nothing to do with it. John Walker is knockoff Captain America in this. Not really exactly thrilled about it. If they would have made Bucky Barnes new Captain America, I don't think I'd be very thrilled about that either, because it sucked in the comic books too. So
the actor's name is Lewis Pullman. That's why Oh, there it is.
Like
okay.
The fourth one down.
Yeah.
I just saw him in something else other than.
He was in that Salem Lots movie.
That's what it is. That's the one I saw him in.
I know how much you loved that movie.
Yeah, it was something. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna watch this again. If I didn't have the Regal Movie Pass, I would skip it. Apparently, Florence Pugh is decent in it. Another "Don't Worry, Darling" reference.
Yeah. I do like Wyatt Russell a lot. I liked him in the Captain America or the Falcon Winter Soldier show. He's a really good actor. He's in one of my favorite movies that nobody's seen called Overlord. That World War II movie. Yep. He's really good in that one. But I maybe I'll see this movie. We'll see. I still need to watch Drop though, so I need to watch The Accountant. So probably not, because I got to watch those.
Cowboys and Aliens, great movie.
Wait, he's in Escape from L.A. He must be like a kid or something in that, because he's Kurt Russell's kid. So
1986. So yeah, this movie came out in what? He was 10.
Yeah, jeez.
So there you go. Yeah, I watched the first episode of this Captain Falcon and the Soldier Guy thing, and it.
Oh, he's
really
in Ingrid Goes West.
Sucked.
That has Aubrey Plaza in it. That movie's been on my list for a little bit.
If you haven't seen Cowboys and Aliens, watch Cowboys.
That's an oldie, right? Like, wow,
all right.
It's weird for me to call that an oldie. It's 2011.
Yeah, well, it kind of is. I think that'll do it for us. Let us know what you think in the comments. All that good stuff. The usual YouTube and Twitch and all that stuff. Subscribe. Anything else?
I just remembered he's in my second favorite episode of Black Mirror. On there. That's it.
Anything else for the people?
That's it.
Okay. Catch you guys later.
Peace.